Hi, I wanted to introduce myself. My name is Lanny, and I'm starting a new YouTube channel, so I wanted to kind of let you people get to know me a little bit. The name of my channel will be Stories and More by Lanny, My Life and What I've Learned. I've done a lot of things in life, and as you can tell, I'm an avid outdoorsman. I'm a hunter, I'm a fisherman, I'm a trapper. Anything to do with the outdoors, I've always enjoyed. Also, I've done a lot of things with animals. I worked for the Dallas Zoo for 16 years. There, I got to be around so many different types of animals. I even got to help train elephants. I've even raised baby gorillas, chimpanzees, orangutans, things like this nature, tigers. I've done a lot of things. I even tried my luck at bull riding. Thought I was going to be a world champion. Finally found out I wasn't going to be a world champion there. But anyway, hopefully you'll find a story or two that you can relate to or enjoy. And as always, I'm continuing to do many things. Really, right now is hunting season, so I'm in the midst of that. So anyway, I want you to subscribe to my channel, and I think you'll find something interesting. I want you to comment on it. Let me know what you think. If I need to correct something, let me know, and I'll be glad to help you out. But anyway, the name of my channel is Stories and More by Lanny, My Life and What I've Learned. Tune in and help me out and subscribe, okay? Thanks a lot. This is my cousin Karen. She lives in Michigan, and we talked her into coming down and buying an out-of-state hunting license, going hunting with us. We were going to go deer hunting. I was going to teach her how we deer hunt here in Texas. And so anyway, she says, well, good, I can film you shooting a deer. I said, okay, let's do that. We'll do it. I said, can you climb a tree? Yeah, I can climb a tree. So we went out the night before and we climbed the tree. She climbed the tree, which I believe we're up at about 20 foot or so. She got up there, she sat in the seat, and I said, all right, what I will do is stand right here and sit on this board right at her feet. That's where I will be, and she can be filming from up above me. So that's what we did. So the following morning, we get out there. I told her I wanted to be in the stand way early so that we could be there in time for any deer that came in there earlier. We would make sure that we wouldn't scare them off. So we got up in our tree, everything went smooth. She climbed the tree, no issues at all. She's pretty stout. She's a pretty stout little girl. She exercises a lot. So anyway, we get up the tree, we get settled in, I get my bow ready. I usually hang my arrow over on a bow hanger. So I hang my extra arrow in my quiver over there, get an arrow knocked, and I get ready. And by then it's starting to break light just a tiny, tiny bit. Well, it wasn't but just a couple of minutes. We hear footsteps coming in from behind us in the leaves. Sure enough, we have a fawn coming in. You can look down and it's light enough that we can see this fawn, and as he's walking up, and he comes up and he smells where we walked up to where we climbed up the tree. He's kind of cautious. He stomped his foot a couple of times, but then he kind of got over it, forgot about us a little bit, so he started walking around underneath us. And then we have another one show up, and it starts moving around. Well, here in Texas, we can actually feed the deer and use feeders to attract deer so that we can hunt over the feeder. So right about the time that feeder goes off, they get under that feeder and start feeding these two young ones. And probably 5 minutes after that feeder went off and the daylight is rising, we can see better, we can see good then. I look out, I catch a little bit of a movement back to my right, about 50 yards. And I looked through the trees and I could see a deer coming, and it looked like it was a pretty big bodied deer. And earlier, a couple of nights before and the day before, we had on camera a nice buck that was coming in there, the corn feeder, to feed. So I kept watching that movement, and all of a sudden I could see him through the limbs, and I pulled my binoculars up and looked, and that was that buck. He's a nice 10-point buck. I thought, well, that's the one we want to try to get. So we watched him, and he'd come in and he started feeding around in there. And the little ones would get out of his way and he'd feed around, and he fed around different areas in there, and he'd get just about where I could shoot him, but there would be a little one behind him or something. Something would stop me from being able to shoot. Finally, he works his way around and he starts back around, gets broadside, and I draw my bow, get it back, just about ready to shoot, and there's a tree trunk there that's just a little bit too close for comfort. So I said, no. So I had to let down, which you have to let down real quietly or you'll scare everything off. So I let it down and kept watching him. Pins and needles. You're on pins and needles at this time because you're afraid he's gonna lose interest in the corn and he's fixing to take off, and it's the rut, so you're thinking he's gonna go find a doe. So I'm kind of on edge because I was afraid he might leave. Well, he come back around and he turned and he had his left side to me, and as he's walking up, he looked up. I knew he bristled up a little bit, and I could tell that there was a buck that was coming in from behind us somewhere back there because he looked at it and I could see him bristle a little bit. And I thought maybe there might be another buck real close that was bigger, but I didn't care. I wanted that one there. I'd done made up my mind that I wanted this deer. Finally, he worked his way around, and I got my bow ready, and I drew my bow as he walked behind the tree trunk, and as I drew my bow, just as he passed it, he heard me draw that bow, and he stopped and he looked in our direction, but it was too late. The arrow was on its way, and it found its mark. I hit him high in the lungs and he took off. And as he ran, I could see him kind of loop around, go back to my right, and then I couldn't see him any longer. I kept listening. You always want to listen because sometimes you hear them crash and fall. But I never heard that. And I turned around to Karen and I said, "Did you see where I hit him?" I couldn't see the arrow for sure where it hit him. I felt it hit him high in the chest, but I didn't know exactly where. And we didn't know. But anyway, we got him. We got down and we went out and Karen found my arrow and it was just soaked with blood. It was a perfect shot. And we started on the blood trail and I could see his belly. And he didn't go 70 to 80 yards before he piled up. So we did it. I mean, successful hunt. Karen got to experience the thrill of my hunt, and it worked out perfect. So anyway, we made a new hunter out of the deal. Now she has 2 bucks under her belt, and I'll tell you that story a little bit later. I'll talk to you then.
So, Lanny just nailed his 123rd.
123.
That's what I just said. 123. He made sure I said that. With his bow and arrow. And he's nice. What do you think? A perfect shot.
Well, this is what a man hunts for. With a bow and arrow, a nice buck like this. We'd seen him on camera, and I had a choice between him and another buck at one of my other stands, and I thought, man, this is a nice buck. But anyway, he came in, gave me the opportunity, and I luckily made a good shot. He ran approximately about 75, 80 yards. Good high double lung shot. With a bow and arrow, I'm gonna tell you something, this is my 123rd deer with a bow. And I'm proud of the smallest doe I've ever taken. I think it's a challenge. I think sitting in a tree or in a stand somewhere and waiting for hours and hours on end, and it all comes down to making a good, clean, ethical shot, which every hunter hopes for. And when you take an animal, no matter what it is, buck or doe, a hunter has a deep love for these deer. I do. And there's a sadness there that goes with it, along with the joy of killing him. Hey everybody, it's Lanny. Hey, I wanted to tell y'all thanks for watching my first story on YouTube, the story of 123. I appreciate all of you that have liked and subscribed to my channel. And for those of you who haven't, I would ask that you do like and subscribe to my channel. And remember my name. Remember the name of my channel is Stories and More by Lanny, my life and what I've learned. I'm sure there's going to be something down the road that you'll enjoy, and I'd like for you to tune in. Remember to like and subscribe. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thanks a lot. We'll see you.